Hi, everyone. I'm giving my phone some time to catch up. My name is Nikisha Evans, and I'm here to present to you the child sexual abuse presentation, which is very, very a tough subject for most to talk about or to even witness or to listen to. So let's get into some definitions. Child sexual abuse is a sexual activity with minors. Is an act performed by a perpetrator involving any form of sexual activity, such as porn, masturbation, in front of a minor, or forcing a minor to masturbate or obscene phone calls or text messages. It is now called child sex abuse material. All sexual touching between an adult and a child. If a child with a 3 years or more difference involved in sexual touching is considered sexual abuse. So if your child is 11 and someone of the age of 14 decide that they want to violate your child, that is considered sexual abuse. So let's talk about the scope of the issue. Child sexual abuse has impacted and affected families and communities for many years. It is difficult to gather census because many victims do not disclose the abuse. Many adults are also not educated on the characteristics of sexual abuse, therefore does not recognize how often it happens. 42% increased chance of suicide thoughts during the adolescent stage. So all these kids that's not reporting it or afraid to report it are committing suicide. Let's talk about the people that are affected. There are more than 42 million survivors of sexual abuse in America. 1 in 3 girls are sexually abused by the age of 18. 1 in 4 boys are sexually abused before the age of 18. 1 in 5 children are solicited sexually while on the internet before the age of 18. So yes, all your Roblox, your Fortnites, anything that has to do with talking and communicating with other players is endangering your child of being a victim of sexual abuse. 30% of sexual abuse are never reported. That's a very high number. 70% of all reported sexual assaults occur children 17 years and under. But 90% of children that deals with sexual abuse know their victims. 20% of victims of sexual abuse are under the age of 8 years old. 38 of the sexual abuser of boys are females. 90% of individuals with the developmental delays or disabilities will be sexually assaulted at least once in their lifetime. Let's talk about some risk factors. The characteristic of risk factors may increase the experience of sexual abuse, but it may not be the direct cause of it. The combination of the environment and the individual itself may be factors of the sexual abuse. A typical pedophile would commit at least 117 sexual crimes in their lifetime. Also, a stressful home environment, low self esteem, unmonitored access to my words, unmonitored access to technology, poor communication, being lonely, children who identify as LGBTQ, misunderstanding boundaries, disabilities, blended families, domestic violence, and prior sexual abuse. Here, I found two videos that I would like for you guys to watch that shows how some people can either s- see warning signs or the lack of. Hit the wrong button. Okay, we're gonna go right into the second video. Okay, so let's just wind down a little bit and get into the history of sexual abuse. Prior to this point in time, sexual abuse remained it secret and unspoken back in the day. So this is one of the reasons why it was um, not never reported, because it was a family secret and you never spoke about it. Everyone had that understanding. In the 18th century in London, many believed that sexual congress with a child would cure venereal diseases. In New York City, between the years of 1790 and 1876, a third and a half of rape victims was under the age of 19. And by and during the 1820s, which is a little in between, they had a peak of 76%. In the 19th centuries, the British and American feminists, the churchmen, the church reformers argue that these shocking crimes occur in all social classes, which I agree. There is not one class better than the other that never experienced any type of abuse, especially sexual abuse. Historian Lynn Sacco found more than 100 published newspapers reports of father and daughter incest. So the incest between the father and daughter between the years 1817 and 1899. And in 1894, I thought this was very interesting that a book called A System of Legal Medicine reported that rape of a child is the most frequent form of a sexual crime. 30% of statutory rape cases from 1896 to 1929 sought to resolve the case by marriage or financial payment. In 1968, 44 out of 50 states have enacted mandatory laws that requires physicians to report cases of suspicious child abuse. During the 1970s, it was a dramatic increase in divorce, single parenthood, and working mothers that contribute to childhood sexual abuse. Also in the 1970s, Child Abuse Prevention Treatment Act was created in 1974. And in 1979, the National Abuse of Coalition was created to put pressure on Congress to create more sexual abuse laws. Always about protecting our children. Let's talk about some of the service that we have. So, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, which is at 3401 Civic Center Boulevard, Philadelphia, PA, 19104. With the telephone number is 215-590-4923 to make appointment or to gather information. They have a program that's called the Child Abuse Referral and Evaluation, which is the CARE Clinic. They do a complete physical examination, including all parts of the body. They have mental health workers there that will help you establish if you need to seek any type of psychological treatment. And they also test for STIs, pregnancy tests, or anything else that might come about during your examination. Other services, if you want to talk to someone anonymously, call the National Child Hotline at 800-48-CHILD anytime for 24/7 if you do not want to tell what's going on and you want to just remain anonymously. I think I said that right. Okay, anywho. Um, Also, being an adult survivor of a childhood sexual abuse, you can also call the National Sexual Assault Hotline at 1-800-656-HOPE. You can chat online at online.rain.org. That should be online at rain.org. I'm just gonna keep it that way. That's how it came out in the website. Also, what people fail to realize is that you can call DHS here in Philadelphia. They're located at 1515 Arch Street, Philadelphia, PA 19102. Their telephone number is 215 683 6100. There's always an intake worker there to listen to you and to sort out what type of treatment you may need and to assist you with any support or help that you may need as well. Let's talk about these interventions. Let's start at the micro level. So I said that therapeutic programming. So that's for any young adult that needs help transitioning from adolescent to adulthood by, okay, didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. That's transitioning from adolescent to adulthood by helping them navigate through the challenges that they may be having at that moment. Also, individual psychoanalytic therapy, which helps the individual with understanding their psychological roots that drive their thoughts and their behaviors. Things that I would access during this level is the offender's sexual abusive behavior, the accountability they that they're taking of the act that the part that they played in, and any environmental factors that may be contributing to the child sexual abuse. The meso level is problematic sexual behavior cognitive behavioral therapy, which we're just going to talk about all of the sexual behaviors and understanding what's going on with your body or anything or any trauma that happens. We're also going to do risk reduction through family therapy, which address the symptoms that a person may be experiencing from that trauma. On the macro level, we're going to do trauma enforced cognitive behavioral therapy, which we're going to just focus on the impact and the parents behaviors in between the parent and child behaviors and how that is impacting their growth. Um, Also, parent child interaction therapy, where we're going to dive deeper into the situation to help the parent and the child move on to a successful adulthood. So, my conclusion, I thought this was also nice and it sums up everything. You know, I know you guys don't want to hear all of the talking, so let's watch the video. So let's recap. History tells us that child sexual abuse has been going on since the 18th century, but it was forbidden to speak about it. However, we now have service laws and professionals to confide in with an open with an open and safe place to do so. Laws are also in place to protect children that fell victim of sexual abuse and place the perpetrators in prison. Once again, this is not an easy topic. And if you're working with any other children that's dealing with sexual abuse in any form, I hope this brighten your horizon and that you learn from this. There's a lot of material that's out there that will support and assist you with that. There's a lot of videos that will help children that cannot understand or grasp the idea. Um, so I hope you guys felt that this presentation was very informative, and I look for your feedback. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Enjoy your weekend.